Hi, everybody. Welcome to WCAX. Starting a few minutes late today. I just wanted to get our Ike Ben David on the horn. He's been following this story that for it's probably about a month now, which regarding some roadside signs is maybe not even the best way I can put it in Vermont. So, Ike, first of all, thanks for coming on this morning.
Hey, John. Good morning. Yeah, these signs, some are calling them billboards,
Yeah.
are attached to hay wagons. There's about six locations in Vermont, and then he has some in New York as well. But that's a different story for our Vermont viewers. This is definitely a lot of people reached out to us about this because there is it's called the Vermont sign law, but many people call it as the no billboard law. You drive through Vermont on Interstate 89, 91, Route 7, anything, Route 22A. There are no billboards in Vermont. And a lot of that law goes back to the 60s with realizing that the landscape and the culture of Vermont was really big, kind of the long and the short of it is tourism to
Yeah.
bring people here for the landscape of Vermont. And that law has really a lot of pride for Vermonters. It was the first in the country to ever do that. So a lot when this guy was put up these signs, kind of a lot of conversation started. He has a tire business in New York. He kind of says from wheelbarrows to wagons to anything farm, farm equipment and bigger, he will fix. And he's just trying to get the word out there. He says it's not in the ground, it's on a wagon. They're going to be moved when I have to hay and use the wagons, so they're not permanent. Um, but many people believe that it is against the law here in Vermont.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think the last time we covered this, he was in been contacted by the state. Now, what has he said since, as far as I guess legal trouble?
Yeah, I did talk to the state in my most recent story yesterday, and they believe that the state has contacted him and is telling him to take it down. He said immediately before I even contacted him over a month ago, the state contacted him. He pitched back why he thinks he's in the right. As I just mentioned, it's on a wagon. It's not staked in the ground. And he tells me that the state has yet to contact him back. So I haven't heard from him since the story aired again. I've yet to
Yeah.
reach out. I have heard rumors of municipalities reaching out, and people themselves, viewers, like people watching right now, have also called that number and
Yep.
written letters. He points to also again Rice Farm, that the entire Rice Farm entire saying that there is some good feedback, that people appreciate him doing something small. But again, there's also that feedback, people calling him and writing letters that they believe is against the law, at least again here in Vermont.
Absolutely. And I know you and I were talking before this as well, as far as, I guess, moving billboards. For example, I think you said something, you saw one over on Church Street, I think for Uber, right? And, you
Yeah.
see a box truck for Coca-Cola, Budweiser. They have a gigantic logo on the side of the truck, but the truck is moving and transporting probably beer, soda, etc. So what's the distinguishing thing here?
Yeah, that my understanding, John, is if the box truck, which again is the size of what you'd think a billboard might be, or even bigger than these signs, but there's an intended use, there's an intended purpose, and the sign law states you can have a sign if it is on the property. Channel 3 has a sign on the property telling people this is Channel 3.
Yeah.
Businesses, restaurants are allowed to do that. It gets to when what the point of many billboards are saying that there's a gas station or something XYZ miles ahead. And that's what the law is. You can't say that unless it's on the property. To your question about moving billboards, yeah, I was walking my dog this morning and there was, for lack of a better word, a flatbed truck with a billboard, a big sign for Uber on it. According to the state, unless that car is driving for Uber and
Yeah.
you call Uber and it picks you up, that is not its intended use, and that my understanding through the law is that is illegal. So that is another case, and which I have yet to hear anything from the state, but it's
Yeah.
something we're still seeing. I've seen that for a few months here as well.
Absolutely. I think, Ike, maybe this is just the beginning of a lot of illegal billboard spotting. Who knows? But of course, we'll be following the story as well, and anything changes. But Ike, thanks so much for hopping on. We'll show that pack in just a sec here.
Hey, John, thanks. Good to see
Awesome.
you.
Ike, thanks so much. Again, that was Ike Ben David just walking us through rather recent story he did on New York business owner with some billboards or just wagons with advertisements on them, for lack of a better word, for his business in New York. So we'll pull that up in just a sec here.
I was really shocked to see this.
Charlotte resident Kay Alexander frustrated over several signs along Route 7 and around the state. She reached out to Channel 3 after seeing our story last month.
Then I saw your article,
Noticing now the billboards are still up.
and they're huge, and they're ugly, and they're illegal.
Raymond Rice put up the signs on hay wagons for his Westport, New York business.
I don't think we're violating the law.
But the state disagrees.
And the Vermont sign law prohibits signs on somebody's property for a business or an activity conducted somewhere else. And as I understand it, that's the case with the sign on the hay wagon.
57 years ago, Vermont became the first state to ban roadside billboards. There are some exceptions to the law. These signs, known as official business directional signs, are ads, but the state allows them in specific areas. Box trucks with the logo are okay if they're transporting goods.
That's allowable because it's being used for that purpose.
But signs like Rice's are not allowed. Kessler believes the state has contacted Rice to remove them.
He said he was going to review his paperwork, and he hasn't called me back, so I guess we're just going to continue doing what we're doing.
Rice says the state called weeks ago, but that's it. He also hasn't heard any word of the $50 fine laid out in the billboard law. Meanwhile, some locals like Alexander want them gone.
The law needs to be upheld, and, he needs to remove them.
In Shelburne, Ike Ben David, Channel 3 News.
An interesting distinction there, Dave, especially a state like this. But see that full story again on WCAX.com. But, we had a very busy morning, I guess, yesterday into today. Some snow squalls this morning,
Right.
3 out. So it's definitely February in Vermont. Yeah.
It is, like halfway through winter, and really wintry this morning. And some areas really got nothing.
Yeah.
Pretty much in the clear. Other spots got hit by a snow squall, sometimes more than once.
Yeah.
And that don't last long, but when they hit hard.
And also, you could see nothing. We saw those cams today. You see nothing.
That's
So,
the thing. That's what's really scary about them. And as I say, if you can do so safely, just try to pull over, wait for it to go by, and then be on your way again. So that was the case this morning. It is a lot quieter out there now, but still windy. Let's take a look and see what's going on. And the cold front responsible for the snow squalls pretty much through the region now. We'll be just left with a few flurries for the remainder of today, even a little bit of sunshine. But it is creating some windy conditions out there, so that will be the trend through the remainder of today. Temperatures will be falling as well with the cold front passing on through. So that's that. The high pressure comes in for a nice day on Saturday, so a nice day for skiing or heading outdoors. So we did start off in the 30s, but it is cooling down out there. Still not too bad for an early February day, although it is down to 17 for Saranac Lake, have 27 for Burlington, 29 for Springfield, 30 degrees for Brattleboro. It will continue to drop into the 20s for the afternoon. So again, a lot quieter in terms of snow, just some flurries for the remainder of today. But remaining windy, a wind advisory in effect for the Adirondacks and southern portions of Vermont until 4 o'clock this afternoon. A west wind, 20 to 25 miles per hour. Some gusts possibly to 50 miles per hour, blowing the snow around, and maybe a few more power outages. And the gusts are up there now. A gust of 30 miles per hour for Burlington. The same thing for Messina. And pretty strong, a current wind gust of 40 miles per hour in Lebanon. So it does stay windy through the afternoon, then winding down tonight. High pressure will bring a nice day for Saturday, a break in the action. But then the next storm system takes aim at us, well, mainly to the south for Saturday night through midday Sunday with additional snow. At this point, looking at 1 to 3 inches north, maybe 3 to 6 inches to the south. So we'll keep you updated with the latest. This afternoon, just some flurries, but remaining windy. Temperatures falling through the 20s. Tonight, a few flurries, otherwise partly cloudy. Lows in the single digits and teens. A good night to keep the pets indoors. Then for Saturday, partly sunny skies with highs in the 20s. Snow Saturday night and into midday Sunday, then flurries Sunday afternoon. Again, 1 to 3 inches north, possibly 3 to 6 south. Highs on Sunday in the mid-20s. A fairly quiet stretch Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, except for some flurries on Tuesday. Generally partly sunny, pretty cold, nothing too terrible. Highs mainly in the teens and 20s. Lows a few degrees above and below zero. Looks like another storm system on Thursday, but similar to the past few ones, no blockbuster storm, but could be grays with some more accumulating snow with highs in the 20s. So this has been great news for the ski resorts. Really looking great for them, but just as always, just slow down if you plan on traveling. Just take it easy.
Yeah, I think it's, on one hand, it's a long-awaited, nice dusting of snow for a lot of people, again, who want to get outside, do some winter sports.
Definitely.
But, today's proven, especially with the squalls, 3 out, that you got to be careful out there.
Yeah, it's pretty treacherous. Things that will be improving with that, though, for the rest of today.
Yeah.
So.
Dave, thank you. That is for us here on WCAX Extra. Of course, you can see us on the Channel 3 News this afternoon at noon. Of course, all of our evening shows as well, and all of our content on WCAX.com. Until then, drop my pen. We'll see you then.